Our feature film now explores themes of mental health and how the environment surrounding can impact that. So we go through the story of this woman. She's struggling in all aspects of her life that are in an urban also setting, so like your house, university, because when we see society being built up now, there's a lot of lack of nature and green spaces, especially with these new developments. We see a lot of white, a lot of concrete, a lot of painted brick. So just this, our storyline tries to follow the importance of natural spaces for our own mental health. Translating my vision from script to screen was quite a long and lengthy process. So how the vision started was, we were just talking in class, we actually had the assignment handed to us, and I was just thinking, we're rattling through these very small ideas, and I just said, I have an experience from my childhood where anytime I was overwhelmed or anxious, I used to run off to the park. And so we started with that little small vision, which is actually a theme that I had done previous assignments on. And so we kind of built it up from there. After identifying that's kind of the story we wanted to use, we then decided to focus more so on our audience. For two reasons, we chose to up our audience to young people, young adults. One, it is very difficult when you are a student filmmaker to work with children. You've got to find children that are willing to be participants for free. There's also a lot of safeguarding issues, and it's just not fair on the child, and it's not fair on us because we have such a short turnaround for these assignments. So when making the script, we decided that our character, instead of being a young child, would be of about 17 to 22 years old. And so we started building it from there. And then going around to our script writing process. So from the start, when we also just were hashing out this idea, I knew I wanted this big build-up break scene. And so we had all decided that we would do this by filming a running scene. And we talked about the logistics of how we would film that, and that ended up being filmed via a skateboard, surprisingly enough. So we kind of built our scripts around that. And it was a process. We really started with one script and then went up to two scripts, and it was always being played around and meddled with. I think it had a lot of team collaboration, especially from people who weren't actually supposed to be a part of the script writing process. It was really a team effort. We kind of fed our ideas into two people. One person wrote the script, one person storyboarded, then they worked together to come up with that final vision, in which when it was all set, we all looked through it and had an agreement upon that. And even then, during the filming process, parts of the script do change. I think when it comes to writing and creating something, your ideas are always going to grow and expand. And if you don't allow them to grow and expand, you're not going to be happy with the final product. Honestly, along the way, every little bit of production, pre-production, post-production, has a set of challenges. So I would say in our pre-production, our biggest step in the way was the script. Every time we looked over the script, someone wasn't happy about something. We all kind of had our own little grievances, and it's a mixture of being able to share feedback without also hurting the people you're working with. Because obviously, every idea is a good idea and it's a good starting point. But I think the communication through that got a bit rough. It took us, about 5 weeks to get a very happy, finalized script that we're happy with, because every time we're looking at it, we're tweaking, we're changing things. During production, our biggest issue was, the turnaround time. We had a 2-day shoot because that's what could fit everyone's schedules. And even then, when it came to our second shoot, we were down 2 people. So the first day, I would say, kind of ran pretty as smooth as it could. It was a very happy and fun shoot. From what I remember, everyone was laughing, having a good time. I would say the second day is where it takes a bit of a downfall, because we get the set, it's obviously a bit more remote set, as in some botanical gardens behind the actual gardens. So it was getting people there, but it's weekends, and there are obviously other guests there, and we can't really tell them to go away, but we can't also film them as well. And even then, by the time we finished the first half of that shoot day at that one location, we weren't exactly done, but also it had been 3 hours and we still had a lot done. And so to overcome that, what we agreed on was the team would actually split into 2. Me, myself, and a few people would go with our actor to film any actor scenes we needed at our second location. And for our first location, we still just needed to do some nature shots. So 2 people stayed behind and they filmed the nature shots of that. And I think it just allowed the process to be more smoothless rather than, having to schedule another shooting day and run around everyone's schedules, especially at this part of the semester, everybody's final projects are coming up. So we really needed to get that out of the way. And going into post-production, I would say, I think just watching the vision and being happy with it. There's gonna be a few rough cuts, and I'm not happy with a product that everybody isn't happy with. Although I did suggest the vision, I would like my team to be proud of something we're presenting, and if someone has such a grievance, I won't be happy with what I'm presenting, even if it was to exact T something I imagined. I like hearing the input from my team, and obviously every perspective for me is very valuable in creating something like this. Something that did in fact change our filming was when I was envisioning this big crash shot. It's like a running shot. I had envisioned us. It was the way we filmed it. It's nothing really particular to the film, but I was like, we're gonna get someone in the boot of my car and we're gonna drive the car. Because honestly, I think it would have made it really fun behind the scenes. I don't know, I think I was just trying to, 1, have a little bit of fun with it, but 2, play around with different techniques. As student filmmakers, we're all about exploring different ways and avenues we can film things and trying to get the best result. And towards the end of my student career, I would have liked to do something a bit more drastic. But obviously, when thinking about this, we're filming the scene on campus. We're filming it on a campus road and in a campus car park. It's not the safest. So we had to kind of compromise on that. And there's a little part of me that's kind of like, it would have been so fun to try out. But obviously, when you want to try things like this out, you need to have very high safety regulations. And we just aren't able, we don't have the resources to input that. I think I've learned a lot about directing, not only on this project, but I am filming another project for documentary. 1, directing takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work in every phase of production because you're kind of like an overhead and oversight. You have this vision and you're trying to make everybody align with a vision that everybody's happy with and working on the same things. I would say I probably was not prepared. I don't think anybody in a student meeting process, unless you've really done it before, you're prepared for the amount of work that you actually have to input. I think I really did enjoy it. I mean, I had such great teams who were willing to work and compromise and be proud of what they're doing. And I wouldn't have wanted to do it with another bunch of people. But I think I also kind of learned that maybe not for me in the future. I definitely did struggle with maybe communication a little bit. There were some times where my vision was maybe not being seen and I didn't know how to be I'm just not happy with this and here's why, because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So my tips to any directors out there is find a way to speak your vision, but also find a way to do it in such a nice, calming sense where you're not feeling that awkwardness. For anybody, it's going to be awkward at first. But at the end of the day, this is your job. You have to make sure the piece is cohesive and the story's being told. So you need to find you in your own voice and your own way to communicate that with your team. I think there's not exactly one moment that I'm proud of in this film. And that's just because I've had such a ball creating this film. I'm very happy with seeing some of the visuals that have come out so far, but I'm just incredibly proud of my team. I've never worked in such a group that is so dedicated to create something. We came this at the start and I was like, maybe we can enter this into a film festival. I don't think it's anything anyone in my group has done before, and obviously it's quite voluntary within our class. It's, it's suggested, but you don't have to do it. And I think just a drive for a common goal, we've all really come together, and I couldn't be prouder of that, no matter how the product turns out. I think along the way, there are a lot of tools that can actually help any student filmmaker, and I've learned that across my 4 years as a screen media major. Obviously, like my university, they provide a lot of resources that we can use. However, this semester I was very lucky to get my hands on a director's monitor. It's like a little iPad. It has software that connects it to the camera, so in real time you can see what the camera is seeing. Although I would say it's not 100% accurate, it really gives you a good picture as you're filming it of what you're creating, and it definitely like allows you to streamline the process a lot easier rather than like filming something then watching it, then filming something and watching it. Like I can watch it be filmed in real time, and not everyone's crowded around the camera, gives everyone their own space. But obviously that's not the most accessible to student filmmakers. So I would say like a really big tip I would have is you don't exactly have to storyboard your films. I'm not a storyboarding person myself, but having some sort of an idea of what the shots are going to look like and then kind of playing them out, maybe like taking a photo before you film, looking at the compositions, because you don't want to get on set and have no idea what you're looking for. For me personally, I think shot lists look best. I'm more of a visualizer if I need it on paper, and then I can kind of see the vision, where I'm not very good at seeing the vision and then drawing the vision because it's not going to look the same for me. So that's all something that's really good. But also for scheduling, we used Timetree. I've used it in my previous group assignments. It's just a nice shared calendar. You can assign people different colors and you're able to like put in what days you're free or what days you're busy, and everybody can see it in the one place, and it's really simple and easy to use. I think this experience has really inspired me to just put whatever, like, don't be afraid to put what you want out there. If you have an idea, pitch it, because it might be the idea that is taken, and it might be something you would never have thought would have happened in your life. I think at the start of my degree and throughout my degree, I've always envisioned me working or wanting to work on very much studio, like comedy shows, such as like on Channel 10, because that's the media I'm personally interested in. But I think it's expanded my horizons to just try a little bit of everything, because you just will never know what experiences you get out of it. Because obviously if you're filming like a horror film compared to like a romance, you're gonna get completely different experiences out there. You're filming completely different content. Like in a horror film, you would need a lot of like effects and stuff like that. So my tip, I keep saying my tip, but like I would really encourage everyone to work on anything they can, because you're gonna get such valuable experiences from each individual project you work on, and you're gonna hold them with you throughout your career. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. Please be prepared to check out our short film now, coming on YouTube very, very soon. So stay tuned and keep in touch with our socials.